Once again, we are at it together, and everyone is doing the most to set resolutions. But take a moment and think of the year that was, 2020. Well, folks, 2021 is here with us, and this morning, I'm speaking to Pastor Mr. T to talk to me about the importance of setting intentions and not resolutions. Good morning, Mr. T.
Morning.
By the way, I need to take care of my pastor, Mr. T, because I keep forgetting that pastor part.
Just call me Mr. T.
Mr. T, Kofiti.
Yes, that's okay.
Asante sana kwa kuona my invitation.
Thank you.
And I would like us to get straight into it.
Yes.
I mean, talk to me about setting intentions. Why is this important? Kukua intent, kukua na hiyo intent.
Even the word resolution, it comes from the word resolve. It means something didn't work. So you are trying to come up with something this time. So whatever even pushes you to make a resolution is a pressure that will die. And that's why many people don't stick to the resolution, because there is a pressure of, I didn't utilize the last season as I ought to have to. So there is this pressure that I'm comforting and encouraging myself and saying, now I'm going to fulfill what I never fulfilled in the last season. What you need to understand, it is calendars that flip, but attitudes and temperaments don't flip. So if I had a wrong attitude in 2020, it's only a night. 31st we shout, make noise, say Happy New Year, but attitudes don't change. And when you come now to intentions, it means this is a game of attitude. It's a game of saying, I'm going here and I have to achieve this thing. Time sometimes may not be a factor. Time may, of course, it's good to work with timelines, but even when you don't achieve, you will always come back and audit and ask, what happened and how can I overcome the challenges? So intentions are birthed from vision. So when the vision is so clear, you don't need to work for the future. You begin to work from the future. So you already have this big picture and you're working from that big picture, coming to where you are.
So it's some sort of working backwards.
Yes, it's working backward. When the future is not very clear, you need something to threaten you. You know. I still was told of a guy who went in January to the gym and the parking lot was full.
Yes.
And he checked and was like, hey, what's up, man? And he asked, are you sure this is the place? Will I get space? And was told, you know what, this is January. Wait for Feb. The parking lot will be empty. Because this January has a lot of pressure. But a person that has a clear vision, he's working from the future. And that's where the intentions come, because intentions feed to mission. And the mission is the day-to-day activities, the baby steps that we make towards the big picture where we are headed to. Yes.
Hapo kwa gym, hapo sana kwa sababu maneno, I think the pressure in January is just too much. I think maybe if you speak to someone who owns perhaps a SACCO or your regular bank or your gym, they'll tell you in January we have the highest amount of accounts opened because people are imagining they want to save throughout the year. Gym kumeja, kumeshona.
Yeah.
So in your view, why is it tunakufianga wapi? Where's the trap? January tumeanza vizuri, sote tunaenda gym. Alafu.
That's why I said it's a game of attitude. You see momentum, your attitude determines your altitude. And you can never build momentum if you don't have the right attitude. So the moment you begin something because of pressure, pressure dies. And what happens, you see the principle, there's what we call the principles of flight. Something we're taught in Form 2, it's called the Bernoulli's principle. It's a physics concept whereby the pressure below must be higher than the pressure above. So life is like there's so much pressure to keep you down. And so you must have the ability to generate pressure from below so that you can overcome the pressure above. So if you don't sustain the momentum of creating, the propellers, if you don't sustain the momentum of always creating pressure, the pressure above does not change. It is always there to suppress and push you down. So what happens is, like in January, we have this capacity and strength to create momentum. But we don't have the same strength in February. And so the momentum goes down and it dies. And then now there's this hope that I'll wait for January again to kickstart the process. Now you need to know that time waits for no man. And wasted time. In fact, time comes with three facets. There's the second, the minutes, and the hour hand. It has moments, events, and seasons. So whatever we are calling the gym concept, whereby you begin very early, results are not immediately, but guess what? It is the persistent, continuous investment of moments that give birth to an event whereby we see results. And it is the persistent events that change a season. So most of us don't have the capacity to sustain moments in our lives. We give up so quickly, and it is the accumulation of moments that interfere with events. And an event is something that announces you. They say champions are made in the gym, but always celebrated in the ring. So the gym moment, those are moments, and no one celebrates you in the gym. It's the ring that announces you. It's where we see the results, but you need to know the labors. So we must have the capacity to generate momentum that is going to last us a whole year. Before a plane takes off, this is the mystery. It has to rave. There's something they call RMS, rave per second. It has to rave to the takeoff speed. That's why we'll always hear the engine revving as we are on the runway. For those who've had the opportunity to possibly travel, it revs to the launching speed. So what does it do? It generates the momentum that is going to launch out with. They say a plane spends a lot of fuel while on the ground before it even takes off. So by the time it's hitting the runway, the work of the pilot is to control the speed so that when it hits an area called the PNR, that looks like a zebra crossing, that is a point of no return. At that area, the captain releases the plane into full speed that he had generated while on the ground before it even hit the runway. So that is the principle of life. You generate enough capacity that can drive you the whole year. Now for us believers, we pray for 40 days every beginning of the year, 2107, to generate spiritual capacity to sustain us in the year.
Let me just stop you right there.
Yes.
When you say praying for 21 days, and is this prayer with fasting or
Yes.
prayer with intent?
But of course, you can't launch out for prayers without intentions. There are things you want to achieve. There are things you've set up and you just want to be aligned to the will of God. You see, like 2020, many of the plans of men, people had taken loans, they knew this is the year. Boom, COVID happens. No one knew about it. But I can tell you some people in church saw it in the spirit. So they knew this year, no borrowing, borders will be closed. And they were like, this is the year not to invest. It's called the wisdom of Issachar. The tribe of Issachar understood times and seasons. So there are people who tapped and knew, wow, this one is not the year. Let's wait for the next season. So prayers with fasting gives us the capacity to understand where is the direction of God, where is God taking us, so that now you align yourself with the move that is at the present.
Now, you've brought in a very important fact of 2020, the
Yes.
year that was. How does one now unveil themselves from that wreckage of an year, if I may call it, and launch yourself into a better person in 2021?
Again, I'll go back. For me, it's also an issue of perception, and also attitude. When it's raining outside, you have an option to give an excuse that I'm not going to work. Or you have an option of also looking for an umbrella and you protect yourself from the rain. So the way we view things in life really matters. So there are those, there's the optimistic and the pessimistic, all those people. So there's a person who will get the reason to say, 2020 was bad, and that's the reason I am where I am, nothing seems to work, everything was affected. And there's a person who will say, 2020 was bad for everyone, and 2021 looks like it is giving us hope. We need to step out. Let's look for the umbrella. The umbrella simply means I cannot stop the rain, but I can protect myself from the rain. So there's a person who look at the rain and say, the rain is there, so why should I go out? And another one will say, I have no ability to stop the rain, but I have the ability to protect myself from the rain, and I continue with what I need to do. So we need to come to a place and appreciate what we can change, but also we need to come to a place and appreciate what we can do, even as we navigate through what we cannot change. So that's where the perception and the attitude comes in, because life is full of that. We don't even know how 2021 will be. We don't know whether we'll have COVID 2021. They're saying these trains are keep on changing. We don't know what is going to happen. The weather patterns keep on changing. The political temperature in Kenya, we are not sure. The tensions are already rising and all that. So it is that point of saying, this external I cannot change, but there's something in me that I can change, and that's how I approach what is coming along. And that's where contentment comes. That is where you appreciate that this was not my failure, this was circumstances, so I cannot blame myself for natural circumstance. Like as I was coming, I got a flat tire. So I texted you and
Yes.
told you, I couldn't stop the tire from a flat tire, but I had to think of how quick do I fix it so that I can arrive where I'm arriving. The other option would have been, hey bro, I can't come, I just got a flat tire. What do you think? We cancel that thing. So it is that perception and attitude. Life is ups and downs. It's like the way the waves rise, at the end of the day, they will settle. So until we enter into seasons with that understanding, we'll appreciate. You know, this song done by the band, El Shaddai, amazing song. They say, God, give me the serenity to appreciate what I cannot change and change what I can change. That serenity is needed in life.
Okay, now we are coming to the end of this conversation here, and again, something that has come up again is the fact that you talk about change. Now, it is said that to change from when you want to change the outside, you ought to start changing from the inside.
Very true.
Why is this important? And as you close, how does one now achieve this?
The greatest battle, by the way, is not external. The greatest battle is eternal. If you can change the battle of identity, perception, how you view yourself, automatically you'll be able to deal with external battles. Because all these things need attitude and identity. You see, I'll give a good example. When David showed up in the battlefield, the brothers began to attack his identity. You are just a young boy. What are you going to do? That was an external battle, but the man had confidence. He knew, this is a giant that I'm able to kill. So you have to win inside before you win outside.
Wow. I think it's a very, very candid conversation there with Pastor Mr. T. And I think unaenda kupreach Buddha, as in you've gotten into the zone, you've gotten into your zone. Ama bado hata hujaanza.
Nika politician akiona watu tu ana flow.
Ana flow nayo. I mean, that's the word right here this morning on Your World. And this morning, guys, from Brian Mushiri, Pastor Mr. T, perhaps from everyone here, is set intentions and not resolutions for this year. My name is Brian Mushiri.